Israel. First, giving honor to the Most High and the Son, Yahushua. Today's class, watch your mouth. That debt will get collected. Just more reiteration, man, on being mindful of what you say. And not just what you verbally speak, but what comes up here, man. Because this is the first mouth that says anything, right? And a lot of us tend to disregard that. A lot of your actions come from that initial thought. A lot of us speak without thinking, or we immediately just blurt the first thing that comes to mind. You know what I'm saying? And not realizing what we saying, we will get checked on that. Especially if you're making a vow, you're making a promise or an oath, or whatever the case may be. If you come up short on the end of that, that debt collector is going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's get into it. Give me the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Again, man, this whole book is set up to establish that foundation, man. To answer those questions, to give insight, to give examples on things that you go through, because there's nothing new under the sun. One of our forefathers or foremothers have went through a situation very similar to what you're dealing with, what you've gone through, or what you're going through, or what you may face in the near future. This right here is to help build that solid foundation for you to have hope, for you to have faith, for you to have that cheat code to get through it. Read.
That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
That we what?
Might have hope.
That we what, bro?
Might have hope.
That we might have hope. Because again, you got to watch your mouth. You got to bridle that tongue. Not just the physical one, but this one here as well.
That's right.
Because everything starts here. Let's get to it. Give me Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. Let me get that with you, bro. Book of Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. Read that when you get there, bro.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
What did it say, bro?
Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Say death and life are in the power of the tongue. We've all at some point either been on the receiving end or witnessed somebody say something and it had very, very dire consequences for what they said. Because not everybody is going to appreciate how you talk to them, how you come at them, whether the words you use or how you use them, the inflection in your voices and so on and so forth. Your mouth didn't sign that check that you ultimately physically couldn't cash. It's a death and life are in the power of the tongue. You could possibly be one word away from uplifting a brew or destroying a brew. You could be one word away from giving that sister that solace or putting more pressure and hurt on her. It's a death and life are in the power of the tongue. Whether you can cause harmony or wrath. Read.
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
You're going to get your just due. You reap what you sow, right?
That's right.
Deuteronomy 23 and 21. Let me get that with you, bro. Let's get a little bit more of the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23 Go ahead and read up.
Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 21. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God.
He said, now, when you vow a vow, when you make a vow that you are going to do something, operate a certain way, speak like this, live like this, whatever the case may be that you choose to vow, read.
Thou shalt not slack to pay it.
He say, you shall not be slack in producing your vow, fulfilling your vow. Whatever you may have said, whatever you may have laid out, whatever the stipulations were for these things to come out of your mouth, do not be slack to pay it. Read.
For the Lord thy God will surely require it of thee.
He say he will surely require it of thee. If you yourself had someone tell you, I'm going to be here on this day at this time, I'm for sure going to be here at that appointed time, that appointed place, on that appointed day. If that person not there, what you gonna think? What you gonna do? You're gonna immediately be upset. You're gonna immediately think, okay, they trying to play me. You're gonna immediately think, what's going on? He or she done lied directly in my face.
That's right.
So what you think the Lord, how it's gonna be for him? When you tell him, you know what I'm saying, I'm coming into the truth, I'm going to start living like Christ, but you still hate your brother. I come into the truth, man, I'm going to change my life, but you still ain't let that old man or that old woman die. You come in and say, I'm the Hebrew of Hebrews, but you still carnally minded. It's death before dishonor. But you completely and utterly dishonoring yourself with your mouth. Because the actions that correlate with what you said. Or the inaction. It say the Lord is going to surely require it of thee. Read.
And it would be sin in thee.
And it was going to be what, bro?
Sin in thee.
It will be sin in you for you not upholding the end of what you made a vow of. For you not being 100 with what you said you were going to do, how you said you were going to do it, or whatever the case may be. See, Israel, bro, we love to talk a good game. Smooth, honey words. But at the end of the day, our actions a lot of times don't line up with what we saying. I've said it before, man. My moms used to love saying, so you think fat meat ain't greasy. Everything that you do and say has an adverse reaction or has some type of consequences behind it, whether it be positive or negative. Everything that you say, everything that you do, the action and or inaction, everything plays a part. Jump over to chapter 23 and verse 21.
Deuteronomy 23 and verse 21.
Matter of fact, excuse me, Exodus 24 and 3, excuse me. No. Read that.
Exodus chapter 23, 24 and verse 3.
So, we're looking at our forefathers and sisters, our foremothers, and how they operated, right? It said, if you vow a vow, be not slack to pay it, right? For the Lord will surely require it of thee, right? Read, bro.
Exodus chapter 24 and verse 3.
Let's see what our ancestors did. Read.
And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice, and said, all the words which the Lord had said, we will do.
What it said, bro?
We will do.
It said all the words, not some, not a specific amount, not a few, not this, not that, but all the words which the Lord hath said, we will do. Don't that sound like you putting a stamp? You putting a stamp on there, right? You making a statement, you making it known. Hey, everything that the Lord said, bro, don't worry, I got it. I'm gonna do that. You've acknowledged and you've accepted. Now you have to produce. You have to show your work. But as you can see with the situations that we're in today, that work wasn't shown. Nothing was produced that was positive. Because we're still dealing with the aftermath, because our brothers and sisters still have yet to accept Christ. Still have yet to change their mind. Still have yet to see the light. Still have yet to hear the voice. Still have yet to seek Christ. Even the brothers and sisters that's out there in the world, you have some of them that may not know who they are, but they stand on their business. They 100. What they say they're going to do, they do it. If they say they're going to be somewhere, they're there. If they say they're going to operate a certain way, they do it. But you got brothers and sisters in the truth, the ones that know who they are, the ones that call themselves wanting to change, the ones that call themselves wanting to be the better versions of themselves, don't even uphold their end of the bargain. Don't even stick to their guns. Not standing on business. Not 100. Not 10 toes down. Not trustworthy. So who you think is going to garner more respect? Who you think somebody is willing to deal with and listen to more? Somebody who's verified? Or somebody who's faking the phone? Give me Ecclesiastes 5:1. They say all the words of the Lord, everything he said, we will do. Read that, bro.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of the God.
It's telling you, bro, watch your mouth. Not just what you say physically, but up here, your mind, what you think about. Read.
And be more ready to hear than to give sacrifice of fools.
It say, be more ready to hear, be focused, listen, pay attention. Then to just blurt out, then to just speak, then to dig that hole that you ultimately can't get out of, then to write that check that you can't cash, then to get caught slipping, then to get caught lacking, then to end up looking like a fool. Read.
For they consider not that the evil they do.
Because you saying one thing and doing another, or not doing what you said you was going to do, you ultimately showed yourself to be a liar. You've ultimately showed yourself to be deceitful. You've ultimately showed yourself that you can't be trusted. Because for some people, it's one and done. They don't give second chances. They don't give other opportunities. They don't give you that grace. They don't give you that mercy. Some people, it's over with. You got one time to cross me. Looking like a fool. But see, that's the beauty of the Lord, man. He could have easily been that person. When we said all of the words that we was going to do, and immediately turned around and did the exact opposite. He could have been like, it was over and done with right then and there. Christ didn't even have to put himself out there like that. He could have just been like, hey, bro, scrap it. Let's come up with a whole new plan. We need a whole new branch. We need new blueprints. Let's get rid of the old model and bring in a new. But he's giving you an opportunity, man, to let that old man die, let that old woman die, man, and become anew. Stand on business. Be 100 about what you say. Be 100 about how you operate. Read.
Be not rash with thy mouth.
He say, be not rash. Don't be quick. Read.
And let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before God.
He say, bro, watch your mouth. Think. Observe. Survey. Look. Piece together. All of these different descriptive words you want to use for being hesitant in what you say, because you don't either A, have the full scope of what's going on, or B, you still want to be thorough before you give an answer, before you reply. Some people hear it and didn't completely hear it, but they giving they 2 cents in on it. Or somebody isn't even directing what's being said to them, but they got a word on it. They say, be focused, man. Read.
For God is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore, let thy words be few.
It say, let your words be few. Read.
For a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by multitude of words.
It say, and a fool's voice is known by the multitude of words. Have you ever heard somebody, which I guarantee you, every last one of us have experienced, somebody that's just talking to hear them talk. But you can clearly see they talking BS. You can clearly see they talking out the side of the neck. You can clearly see that they don't even believe what they saying. Showing themselves to be a fool. People that you don't even interact with anymore because they've showed themselves to be this type of person. People, when you hear their name come up, you already know what the business is. Don't let that be you. Especially in the truth, especially you calling yourself knowing who you are, knowing how you're supposed to operate, saying that you're going to follow Christ, saying that you're going to be Christ-like, but you're not doing it. This is a very simple thing to keep. Watching your mouth. Watch what you say, especially if you have children. You know what I'm saying? It's a work in progress. Yo, children, bro, parrots. Whatever you say, they're going to immediately repeat. So if you don't want them to say what you're saying, then you got to bridle that tongue. But see, again, simple concept. We completely disregard it, completely go over our head. Water under the bridge. Read.
When thou vowest a vow unto God.
There it is again. When you make that vow, read.
Defer not to pay
It
it.
say defer not to pay it. It's saying the exact same thing as our forefathers, as our foremothers said before. All of the words of the Lord we will do. Read.
For he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed.
It say pay that which thou hast vowed. And as you can see the outcome of what that vow was, we still picking up the pieces today. We still dealing with those adverse effects right now. Our people still stubborn, hard-headed, hot-headed, insecure, hateful, angry, wrathful, deceitful, liars. All of these things we still dealing with. Covetous, envy, jealousy. All of these things. All of these evil fruits that the Lord tells us to deal away with. We still dealing with today. Read.
For he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow, than thou should vow and not pay.
He say, better it is that you should not vow, that you shouldn't put your immediate stamp that I'm going to do this. Because if you say that and you don't uphold the end of the bargain, somebody got to come collect. It ain't got to be right then and there. It ain't got to be 2 weeks later. It could be 3 to 5 years down the road. But the Lord still got to check that. Some of us, we get it immediately. Some of us, it's a little later. But at the end of the day, you got to reap what you sow. So instead of immediately firing off, giving an answer to something, take the time, think about it. Do I have anything going on within this time span of what you're asking? Or how has my last couple weeks been there? Do I even have the energy to put forth to be a help to what's going on? Or whatever the case may be, whatever the situation may be, you got to think first. Don't just answer. Because at the end of the day, if you say, yes, I got that, I'm going to do this, that, and the third, and it don't, or you come up short, you got to eat that. And I guarantee you it ain't going to be sweet. Go back. Exodus 24 and jump down to verse 7. Now, let's get a little bit more.
Exodus chapter 24 and verse 7. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people. And they said, all that the Lord hath said, will we do.
There it is again. Moses was doubling down. He's like, I'm going to read everything that the Lord said. I'm going to give it to you. And guess what we said? We will do. But what else? Read.
And be obedient.
And what, bro?
And be obedient.
Not only did we say we are going to do it, but we also doubled down ourselves and said we're going to be obedient. Does it look like we was obedient? When you wake up in the morning and look outside, does it look like we was obedient? When you get your paycheck and your bills and you look at how life is for you, is it showing that you was obedient? Come on, we all gonna have our battles. We all gonna have our trials and tribulations through our walk. Come on, that's what's gonna happen. But how are you dealing with it? Is your faith still there? Just because you had a hiccup right here, did that change the type of person you are? Are you no longer 100? Or are you considered a liar? Or are you considered somebody that's no longer trustworthy or nobody that's reliable? Because you had a few bumps in the road? Or are you standing 10 toes? You understand the mission. You understand what's going on. You understand everybody is going to have their ups and downs. Life is full of peaks and valleys, ups and downs. Where are you falling on that spectrum? When you go down, are you staying down? Are you flatlining out? Or are you jumping back up? Because we said we was going to do it all and be obedient, but my brothers and sisters, even right now, even with the knowledge that we have, we still coming up short. Read.
Verse 8. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words.
He said, now, bro, we've initially signed a contract in blood saying, this is how we're going to operate. This is the vow that we made, so this is what we gonna do. Blood in, blood out. Again, the Lord made it very clear. If you're gonna vow that vow, do not be slack to pay it. Deuteronomy 11 and 26. Let me get there. Read that, bro.
Deuteronomy chapter 11 and verse 26. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse.
See, the Lord is letting us know. For the ones that will do and be obedient, this dispensation of time, we still had our brothers and sisters stuck in this contract. We said that we was going to do everything that the Lord ordained and be obedient. So now the Lord is letting you know these are the stipulations. I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. Just like we read earlier, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Did you sign your death warrant? When you opened your mouth before you thought? Did you sign your death warrant when you took on way more than what you can handle? You never called out for help. You never asked anybody to be a part, to relieve some of that pressure, relieve some of that burden. You just shouldered it and then did not follow through. Came up short. Because you didn't think about all of the things that you already got going on in life, or the things that you're dealing with, or your mental state, or your spiritual state, or whatever the case may be. It's a, behold, he said before you, a blessing and a curse. Jump over to verse chapter 30, verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good.
There it is again. Just letting you know, these blessings are going to be life and good. Adhering to your vow is going to be life and good. Being 100, being trustworthy, being reliable. Life and good. Read.
And death and evil.
And what?
And death and evil.
But not being obedient. Not adhering to what you say you're going to do. Not following through with your vow. Not making the proper payment. They say death and evil. Like, what more black and white do you need? Let's go back. 11 and 27.
Deuteronomy chapter 11 and verse 27. A blessing if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your God.
Again, in this dispensation of time, he letting you know, hey, the blessings come if you obey the commandments, if you adhere to the vow that you made. Read.
Which I command you this day.
It say, these are the blessings that's coming if you be obedient. If you adhere to all of the words of the Lord that you said you was going to do. Blessings. Life and good. Happiness. There's going to be some ups and downs along the way, because that's how life is. You got to be tested. You got to be, you have to. You're not just going to grab something and not check it out. You're not just going to immediately make a decision without thought. That's at least what you're supposed to do. When you go buy a vehicle, you don't buy the first vehicle you see. You look under the hood.
That's
you
right.
You check the Carfax. You see how many owners it had. You see how many parts that been replaced. You see how many accidents it had, or whatever the case may be. You don't just make the first purchase. You do a little research, right? Or at least that's what you're supposed to do. When you're choosing your spouse, you're supposed to prove a friend, right? You don't immediately just jump into bed. At least that's what you're supposed to do, right? But you see how many of us fired off the hip? Said the first thing that come out of your mind, or operating off of the flesh, and now, bro, you got 18 years of a headache. You 2 months into your marriage or your relationship, and y'all already want to choke each other out. When they say watch your mouth, when it say don't be hasty, it's not just saying it and what you got going on outside at your job or whatever. No, it's in your life as well, in your home, dealing with your family members, your spouse, your children, every aspect of your life. It's telling you to think. Don't just jump off the porch for the first thing that you see or the first thing you hear. Because without that thought, it's a death and evil. Give me 30 and 16.
Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 16. In that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments.
See, now we're going over the aspects of that life and good in this dispensational time. This is what the Lord was telling us. This is what we could be looking forward to if we had listened, if we had been obedient, if we paid our just due. Read.
And his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
See, it's telling you, bro, this is what you was looking forward to. This is what was waiting on you. If you listened, if you adhered to your end of that contract that you signed, to that vow that you made. This is what the upside of what you was dealing with, what you was going to be looking forward to. Right now, our brothers and sisters to this day, we not even getting to see that. And what's so sad and disturbing is we are happy being at the bottom. We are happy with having nothing. No knowledge, no sense of self, no talents. No traits, no nothing you can pass on to make the next generation a step better than what you did, or what you had, or what you dealt with. We are happy with nothing because we so quick to fire off the hip. We so quick to say the first thing that come to mind. We so quick to not analyze anything and just do. It's telling you, bro, you got to deal with that. You got to eat that. The Lord is going to come through and collect on that. When? Who knows? How long? Who knows? That's between you and the Lord. But I know one thing. Why not make it easier on yourself and just follow Christ, bro?
That's right.
Why not make it easier on yourself and follow the instruction of what the Father has given us? It's to make our lives easier. But we completely miss that. Go back. 11 and 28.
Deuteronomy chapter 11 and verse 28. And a curse if you would not obey the commandments of the Lord your God.
So now it's telling you we're going to be dealing with death and evil, curses. If we decide to make that vow, we decide to put ourselves out there and don't uphold our end. Don't push through. Don't follow through. Don't produce. Show ourselves to be fake. Show ourselves to be liars. Show ourselves to be deceivers. Show ourselves. to be contrary to what the Lord needs us to be. Read it again, bro.
And a curse if you will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods, which ye have not known.
See, this is the thing. We still dealing with this right now. Because we ourselves have put into play us as those gods, man. And social media ain't doing nothing but increasing that. You got your selfies, your FaceTimes, your lives, your all of these things that you have to continue to corrupt. Put a blindfold on, put a veil on. You don't think about anything, you just do. It's second nature because that's all you dealt with. That's all you ate. No sense of self. You just following everybody, following trends, not realizing the effects of what's going on, how these people are dealing with it, what these people are dealing with behind closed doors. That smile that they got on their face is really a frown. Brothers and sisters are depressed. Again, don't have nothing to show for it. But that's what you want. That's what happened when you go after the other gods. That's what happened when you decide not to uphold the end of the bargain. That's what happened when you decide not to watch your mouth, not to bridle your tongue, to jump off the porch with the first thing you thought of. It say these curses, bro. This sadness, this wrath, this hatred, this inability to be still, man, and be cognizant. Full of deceit and lies. These are curses. These things follow or continuing to follow us. You ain't doing nothing but passing that on down to your son, passing that on down to your daughter, passing that on down to your wife, passing that on down to your husband. Go back. Chapter 30 and verse 17.
Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 17. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away, and worship other gods, and serve them.
Again, see, this dispensation of time, and our brothers and sisters, man, our forefathers, our foremothers, they jumped on that bandwagon, bro. Was not 10 toes. Was not reliable. Was not 100. Was not trustworthy. Was not truthful. And this is the outcome that we had. Read.
I denounce you this day, that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land, whither thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death.
That he set before you life and death. Read.
Blessing and cursing.
Blessing and cursing. Read.
Therefore choose life.
What he's saying?
Choose life.
Read.
That both thou and thy seed may live.
He's telling you, bro, watch your mouth. Choose life. Because at the end of the day, you reap what you sow.
That's right.
That repo man gonna come a knocking. And you're gonna have to come up off something. Some of our brothers and sisters may get their candles blown out. Some of our brothers and sisters may end up homeless. Some of our brothers and sisters may end up starving. Some of our brothers and sisters may end up with their spirit destroyed. But again, it's between you and the Lord on what he sees fit to come and collect on. What we're here to do is show you the path to take to mitigate all of that. Show you a path that you can take to not have to deal with all of that. Give you the game, give you the cheat code, give you the game shark, give you the game winning facts. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's up to you. What you gonna do? You gonna continue to keep shooting from the hip? Or you gonna take the time to bridle that tongue, man, and really analyze things before you jump off? Really analyze things before you get into second gear in action. Analyze things before you say something and now somebody going in your mouth. For you say something and somebody doing something bad to you. Read.
Verse 20. That thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord sware to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them.
See, and at this time period, man, this is what the Lord had set up for us. And it just seemed like our brothers and sisters just couldn't adhere. So guess what he did? He gave us Christ. He gave us that mediator. He gave us that person to make it to where when you fall, you got an opportunity to get back up. That when you say something and you don't come through at the end of it, that you got an opportunity to redeem yourself. But keep in mind, you still got to get checked for that. That just don't go away. But you got an opportunity to be better. You got an opportunity to grow. You got an opportunity to change. You got an opportunity to be that better version of yourself. Proverbs 15:2.
Proverbs.
Hold on, let me get there with you, bro. Read.
Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 2. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright.
They say the tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright. Read.
But the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness.
Again, it's telling you, the mouth of the wise, they're going to take the time, they're going to analyze. They're going to think before they act. They're going to think before they speak. They're going to take the time to put the pieces together and then produce an answer. But the fools, off the hip. Read.
The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good.
So just know that once you made that statement, or once you said what you said, or once you did what you did or didn't do, it was still seen. It was still heard. You ain't just gonna throw the rock and hide your hand. It don't work that way. You reap what you sow. Everything has a consequence, whether it be positive or negative, whether it be good or bad, whether it be life or death, whether it be blessing or cursing. Read.
A wholesome tongue is a tree of life.
They say a wholesome tongue is a tree of life. Read.
But perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit.
They say, but that perverseness, man, that flesh, that carnal mind, that not thinking before you act, that not thinking before you speak, man, these things cause death. These things cause cursing. These things cause sadness, heartache, pain, continually. But we're not even thinking like that. Continually selling ourselves short. Read.
A fool despises his father's instruction.
Read that again, bro.
A fool despises his father's instruction.
They say a fool is going to despise the instruction of their father. We are continually, to this day, brothers in the truth, sisters in the truth, brothers and sisters that's out in the world, we are still to this day showing ourselves to be foolish by not adhering to the instructions of the Father. Not listening, not soaking up the game, but getting played all day, every day, left, right, up, and down. Read it again, Bruce.
A fool despises his father's instruction.
Read.
But he that regardeth reproof is prudent.
He say, but the one that regardeth that reproof is prudent. They steadfast, they're learning, they're going to immediately change, pivot. I ain't supposed to do this. We good. We ain't doing that.
That's right.
I'm not supposed to operate like this. I bet. Boom. This how I'm moving. And they stick to it. Come. You're going to have stumbles. You're going to have stumbling blocks. You're going to have pitfalls. You're going to have all of these things. But it's what you do when you encounter it. Do you stay down? Or do you get back up? Do you let that old man come back? Or do you do away with it? Do you, quote unquote, call yourself changing, but the old man never left? Or do you continue to put that wine in that old bottle? And then wonder why it's cracks, the bottom done blew out, because the vessel has not created itself, have not fixed itself, has not put itself in a position to be able to hold those blessings, hold that life, hold that good. Because you're continually crippling yourself by not watching your mouth, by not watching what you do, by not thinking. Give me James 1:19. Read that, bro.
The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak.
He say swift to hear and slow to speak. Read.
Slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity and naughtiness, and receive with meekness an engrafted word, which is able to save your souls.
I was telling you, man, take that time to analyze, bro. Do away with all of these spirits, bro, of that evil fruit, of that corrupt fruit that's going to lead you to have to deal with this death. That's going to lead you to have to deal with these curses. Lead you to have to deal with the heartache and pains, man. Read.
But be ye doers of the word.
But be ye doers of what you are instructed of. What you're reading. The examples that you see. Be doers. Read.
And not hearers only.
And not just hearing it. Not just seeing it. Not just reading it and not putting it into play. Not putting it into action. Read.
Deceiving your own self.
What you doing at the end of the day, bro?
Deceiving your own self.
You're not watching your mouth out.
Deceiving your own self.
Read.
For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was.
So you forget what's going on, bro. You think everything is sweet. You think fat meat ain't greasy. You think you're good. You think you 100. Brother, you're 45. You ain't even half. Sis, you're coming up short. Because you're not paying attention. You're not focusing. You're just doing. You're just saying. You're just being. We have the opportunity now to get it right. We have the opportunity now to have your mistake here and there, but learn from it and don't make the exact same mistake again. That's the whole point. To be that best best version of yourself. To take on the Spirit of Christ, man, to illuminate. To be that example of the good path to walk. Because see, growing up, my brother was all the example I needed of what not to do. All the example of what I needed on what not to say. How not to act. Because seeing him get checked, the way he got talked to, the way he got did, and the consequences of his actions, yeah, bro. It made you tighten up. It made you rethink that little plan you was trying to come up with. And see, that's what the Lord is doing, man. He's giving us that opportunity, man, to really let that old man die. Really let that old woman die and become anew. But we got to watch our mouth, man. We got to really think. And have that in the back of our mind, man, that I reap what I sow.
That's right.
Read.
But whosoever looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed.
Hold on, what's going to happen to him, bro?
This man shall be blessed in his deed.
And say blessings, life, and good. Because again, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Read.
If any man among you seem to be religious, and brideth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain.
He's telling you, brothers, for y'all that's calling yourselves, you know what I'm saying, prophets and teachers and so on and so forth, you need to bridle your tongue as well. You need to think before you speak. You need to think before you act, because at the end of the day, you're going to have blood on your hands if you leading these brothers and sisters down that dark path.
That's right.
You're going to reap what you sow. If you the reason why you done broke up this brother and his wife, you done sowed them seeds for this man to leave his wife, or this wife to leave her husband, and they ain't even attempted to try to work it out. They ain't even attempted to sit down and have an actual conversation on what they're doing and what they're not doing, how they're operating, how they're speaking to each other, how they're dealing with each other on an everyday basis. And we got a lot of that. Brothers and sisters just letting go of spouses left and right. Brothers out here trying to get 3 and 5 and 6 wives. You can't even deal with one.
Bring it out. Oh my God.
The economy is set up to where both of y'all got to be out there in the field, and one person just can't work. But yet you trying to have 4 and 5 wives. Brother, you barely can take care of your damn self.
Bring it out.
But again, we're not watching our mouth. We're not watching what we do. We're not watching how we think. We're not watching nothing. We just jumping off the post. La, 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 la. We got to have those checks and balances in our life, man. And that's what this is, bro. It said it's for our learning. But it don't seem like we picking up or retaining any information, any knowledge. Jump over to Philippians 2 and 13.
Philippians chapter 2 and verse 13. For it is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure.
They say the Lord is in you to do it, but you gotta want to do it. Read.
Do all things without murmuring and disputing.
Again, watching your mouth, analyzing, taking the time, think before you do. Read.
That ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world.
They say we're supposed to be that light, man, to show how to do it, to show this is a path you can take, to show that this walk can be done, to show that it is effective to follow Christ, to live like Christ, to have that spirit. It's on you. That's the path we're supposed to take. This is the word that's being given. Read.
Holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of Christ, that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain.
But see, a lot of us are running and laboring in vain because, again, we're not taking the time to think. We're not taking the time to assess. We're not doing any of that. We just autopilot. And then wonder why we getting hit upside the head left and right with all kind of troubles, all kind of issues. Spirit is itty bitty tiny. We have the opportunity to get it right. It's here. We have the opportunity to shake back. Because again, at the end of the day, you reap what you sow.
That's right, man.
Ephesians 4:17.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 17. This I say therefore, and testified in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind.
In the what?
In the vanity of their mind.
Read.
Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them.
Through the what, bro?
Through the ignorance that is in them.
Through the what?
The ignorance that is in them.
Through the ignorance. That is how ignorant our people are when we don't think, when we just do. Not taking into account, bruh, how many people are going to be affected by the decision that we make. How those people are going to be affected. We're so selfish in how we operate. Read.
Because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. But ye have not so learned Christ.
See, if we're still operating like that, wholeheartedly not thinking, bro, not even taking the time to reflect on our actions, we just go and do and go and do and do and go. We haven't learned Christ. He not even in the forefronts of our mind. We so far and few in between, we can't even hear the voice. So far in the back and up in the nosebleeds, we can't even touch the knock on the door. In a dead zone, no service, can't even call them up. Read.
If so, be that ye have heard him, and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Christ, that you put off concerning the former conversation the old man.
Doing what, bro?
Put off the concerning the former conversation the old man.
You're putting off that old man, that old woman, that old speech, how you operated, how you moved, how you thought. You putting it off. Read.
Which is corrupt.
Which is what?
Corrupt.
That old man, that old woman, man, that old spirit, that flesh man is corrupt. Read.
According to the deceitful lust. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
What happened, bro, when you start to think?
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
When you analyze and watch your mouth.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
Read.
And that you put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. Wherefore putting away lying, speaking every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be ye angry, and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands, the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth.
See, man, all of these things correlate to your actions. How you think, how you speak, all correlate with what you do. When you put on that new man, you are ultimately saying, I'm no longer going to operate like this. These are the type of fruits I will no longer take part in. I'm no longer going to indulge in. But you literally, bro, you got to watch yourself. You got to put in those checks and balances on yourself. Bridle that tongue. Read.
Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, and that it may minister grace unto the hearers, and grieve not the Holy Spirit of God.
Again, because we have already seen the stipulations laid out, man. We got life and good, blessings. We got that happiness, bro. If we wash our mouth, if we adhere to the vows that we made, if we watch what we say, if we analyze, man, we think, we focus. And then we also see what happened. Because we live in it right now. When we don't check ourselves, when we don't follow through, when we break our vows, when we not 100. Receiving the wrath of the Lord. Read.
And grieve not the Holy Spirit of God, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice.
That's what happened when you start to think. That's what happened when you watch your mouth. You take all of these things in consideration. You thinking. You literally, what's the word I'm looking for? Crisis assessment. That's what you do. Analyzing. The best option. What can I say? How can I move? What can I do to where I don't be bitter? I'm not wrathful. I'm not angry. I'm not just shooting off the hip. I'm not putting up malice. I'm not doing anything of these fruits of the flesh. Or causing my brother or sister to take on that spirit. Crisis assessment. Read.
And be ye kind one to another.
What we need to do, bro?
And be ye kind one to another.
Read.
Tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, has forgiven you.
Because again, you got some of our brothers and sisters, man, you got one time to do them wrong. You got one time to not show up. You got one time to lie. You got one time to not be reliable. And they wash their hands with you.
Man.
Give me Galatians 6 and 7.
Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
There it is, man. Let you know. Don't think that just because you're shooting off the hip and ain't nothing happened to you today, there's still tomorrow. There's still years down the line. You know what I'm saying? My mom was so cold with it. She let it build up.
Ooh, hate you.
You done got some bad grades here. You mess around and mouthed it off over here, or you came in past the street lights over here, or you didn't complete your chore here, or you lied about this over there. Get to that breaking point. Now you're wondering why she going to town. You feel like she don't love you no more because she done beat the brakes off of you. But that's the consequences of your actions. Because if you would have thought about it, if you would have watched what you said, paid attention to what you did, all of the actions that you did to correlate to this butt whooping, you would have did.
That's right.
Or the inaction. Because again, what did it say, Brew? Read verse 7 again.
Verse 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
Because again, just because the Lord ain't check you right then and there, don't mean it ain't coming. We all of us have to be mindful. Because we reap what we sow. You can mitigate a lot of that by just being right from the jump.
That's right, man.
Read.
For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
Bro, there it is again, bro. Life and good and blessings, bro. There's life and death is in the power of the tongue, man. Go to Psalms 141 and verse 3. This is what you need to be doing. This is how you need to be operating, man. This is the type of things you need to be speaking to the Lord about. What you need to be praying on. How you need to be in your closet. Read that, bro.
Psalms 141 and verse 3.
Take a page out of David's book, man. Read.
Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth.
Ask the Lord, hey, bro, watch my mouth. Give me the strength to take heed of what I can say or what I'm gonna say or how I'm gonna move. Read.
Keep the door of my lips. Incline not my heart to any evil thing, to practice wicked works with men that work iniquity. And let me not eat of their dainty.
He's saying, man, don't let me fall prey to what everybody else doing. Don't let me get caught up. Don't let me get caught slacking, Lord. Hold my mouth. Hold my tongue. Give me the right frame of mind to think before I speak. Give me the strength to be 100. This is what we need to be praying to the Lord, man. This is how we need to be speaking. Excuse me, because at the end of the day, you reap what you sow.
Right line.
We coming to a close, Israel. Give me Matthew's, the book of St. Matthew's, chapter 12, and start at verse 36.
St. Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 36. But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak.
Hello. What Christ say?
That every idle word that men shall speak.
Read.
They shall give account thereof.
You reap what you sow. You gonna pay. You gotta come out of pocket, buddy. Read.
In the day of judgment.
In the what?
In the day of judgment.
Read.
For by thy words thou shalt be justified.
He say, by your words, you gonna be justified. Whether you did this, you said this, and you followed through. You said this and you didn't follow through. You thought this and did this, didn't do this, action and inaction. Read.
And by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
Read it again, bro.
And by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
You reap what you sow. Watch your mouth, because that debt is right around the corner. That repo man is waiting for that call. Give me 1 Peter 3 and 8, and we out.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 8. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful, be courteous, not rendering evil for evil, or railing for railing, but counterwise blessing. Knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should inherit a blessing. For that the will, for he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil.
Let him do what, bro?
Refrain his tongue from evil.
Read.
And his lips, that they speak no God. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil.
What happened to them, bro?
For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil.
He's telling you again, man. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Watch what you think. Watch what you do. What you don't do. How you move. How you not moving. Bro, checks and balances on yourself. Bridle that tongue.
Bring it out.
Because if not, you and the Lord are going to have a very, very intriguing encounter. And on that, we say shalom.